In today's world, there's an endless conversation about power dynamics in relationships, confidence, and self-worth. We hear over and over about building each other up, empowering women, respecting boundaries, and encouraging individuality. But let's flip the script for a moment. What if, instead of nurturing her confidence, you took steps to bring her ego back down to earth? What if you learned exactly how to keep her grounded, keeping the balance in your favor, without a hint of disrespect but with undeniable power? Now, before you write this off as some outdated manipulative tactic, consider this. Managing a woman's ego isn't about demeaning or controlling her. It's about setting boundaries and leading with presence. Women, just like men, have egos. And often that ego can interfere in relationships, causing misunderstandings and power struggles. The truth is, when you allow a woman's ego to run unchecked, it can create tension, imbalance, and a lack of respect in your relationship. By learning to skillfully navigate her ego, you're not only fostering a healthier bond, but also setting the tone for mutual respect. You see, reducing a woman's ego doesn't mean taking away her self-esteem or confidence. Far from it. This approach is about gently and subtly encouraging humility and respect. It's about showing her that being grounded is a key to a balanced, successful relationship. Whether in conversations, decision-making, or day-to-day interactions, this is about a mental shift that invites her to see you as a partner, not a pushover. In the following sections, we'll break down exactly how to do this with subtlety, insight, and class. We're going to explore methods that not only reduce the potential for ego-driven conflict, but also create a space where you both feel understood and respected. So, if you're ready to see a different side of relationship dynamics, one that challenges, motivates, and inspires you to lead, let's dive into the practical steps. 1. Challenge her assumptions. When it comes to managing a woman's ego, one of the most powerful moves is challenging her assumptions. Women often carry certain expectations into relationships about how they should be treated, how you should respond to them, and even how you should think. By challenging these assumptions in a respectful but firm way, you're inviting her to see that you're not here to follow a script. You're here to be a partner with a voice of your own. Challenging her assumptions doesn't mean arguing over every little thing. It's about subtly and confidently standing up when she makes broad or unchecked statements. If she assumes you'll always go along with her plans, or she hints that her opinion is the final word, this is your chance to surprise her by not always agreeing. Sometimes it's as simple as politely disagreeing or offering a different perspective. When she expects complete alignment, a little bit of respectful resistance reminds her that your presence is one of depth and individuality. Practical example. Let's say she says something like, "Well, you'll just do it my way because you know I'm usually right." Instead of laughing it off or quietly agreeing, take this as a moment to challenge her assumption. You might say, "Actually, I'd like to approach it differently this time. Here's why." Or, "I respect your perspective, but I have a different idea that might work better." This response is calm, collected, and clear that you aren't simply going to nod along for the sake of harmony. By doing this, you aren't creating conflict. You're gently reminding her that you're not here just to agree. When she sees that you have your own mind, she'll start to recognize the strength you bring to the relationship. This doesn't mean you need to challenge her every single time she makes a suggestion, but it does mean that when an assumption seems unfair or controlling, you're ready to calmly stand your ground. Challenging her assumptions is about creating a dynamic where respect flows both ways. Over time, this leads to a relationship where she knows that she can rely on you to have your own perspectives. And that's a quality that's both grounding and attractive. 2. Set clear boundaries. Boundaries are the backbone of any healthy relationship, and if you want to balance the dynamics, they're non-negotiable. Setting clear boundaries isn't just about saying no now and then. It's about defining the rules of respect and mutual understanding within the relationship. When boundaries are in place, they send a powerful message. You value yourself and expect the same respect you give. This can be especially impactful if she's used to taking the lead or assuming that you'll bend to keep the peace. Setting boundaries doesn't mean putting up walls or becoming distant. It means having clear expectations for how you'll both treat each other. Maybe you're not comfortable with her criticizing you in public, or perhaps you want uninterrupted time to work on your goals without feeling pressured. Whatever the boundary, the key is to communicate it calmly and stand by it consistently. Once she sees that you mean what you say, it not only builds respect, but also a sense of security and stability. Practical example. Imagine she frequently texts or calls while you're in the middle of important work, expecting you to answer immediately. While it's natural to want to respond, you can use this as an opportunity to set a boundary. Politely, you might say, "I want to be present when I'm talking to you, but I also need focused time when I'm working. I'll check in with you after I finish." This message isn't dismissive. It's clear and direct, showing that while you value her, you're also committed to your own priorities. By setting this boundary, you're demonstrating that you're not just there to be available at her convenience. You're showing that you have priorities, values, and goals that require space. And by calmly holding to this, you're reinforcing the importance of balance within the relationship. Over time, she'll come to understand that respecting these boundaries is about respecting you. Setting boundaries ultimately encourages a healthier, more equal relationship dynamic. It reminds her that you have your own space and self-respect, and that she isn't the sole focus of your time or energy. The beauty of clear boundaries is that they invite her to respect and value you as a full, independent person, one who stands by his principles without hesitation. 3. Stay unaffected by her reactions. One of the most empowering things you can do as a man is to stay unaffected by her reactions. This doesn't mean you're cold or dismissive, it means you're grounded. Women, like everyone else, have emotional ups and downs, and sometimes their reactions can be strong. But the moment you let her emotional reactions sway you, you hand over control of your own peace of mind. Standing firm and staying calm, no matter what emotions are swirling around, shows her that you're not easily rattled or manipulated. When you stay unaffected, you're saying that you can handle her highs and lows without losing yourself in the mix. If she sees that her anger or frustration doesn't make you react impulsively or frantically, she'll understand that you're not just there to respond to her emotions. You're there to bring stability. When she's upset and looking for a reaction, and you respond with calmness instead, it diffuses the situation. You're showing her indirectly that you're a pillar, reliable and unwavering. Staying unaffected doesn't mean ignoring her or pretending not to care. It's about staying true to yourself, even in the face of challenging emotions. By choosing not to get swept up in her storms, you're reminding her that you're not here to ride every emotional wave with her. You're here to be a steady presence. And the truth is, she'll respect you more for it. A man who doesn't lose his head in emotional situations is a man who commands respect. Many men make the mistake of thinking that being a good partner means responding to every single emotional cue. But constant reaction only fuels the cycle of drama. Staying grounded, however, sets a tone of maturity and strength. Over time, this creates a relationship dynamic where she knows she can turn to you for stability rather than someone who's just another voice in the chaos. This approach builds confidence, too. When you know you're unaffected, you feel more at ease and in control of your own emotions, creating a sense of balance within yourself. And ironically, it can bring you closer to her. By showing her you're someone who can keep their cool, you become a steady figure in her life, someone she can rely on without fearing that every moment will turn into an emotional whirlwind. 4. Assert your vision for the relationship. Too many men enter relationships without a clear sense of what they want from them. They dive in hoping everything will just fall into place, or they let the other person decide the direction. Here's the hard truth. If you don't have a vision for your relationship, someone else will create one for you. And if you're not careful, you might find yourself in a relationship that's driven by her preferences, her dreams, and her terms, while your own values and goals fade into the background. Wake up. If you're serious about building something meaningful, it's time to take an active role in shaping the direction of your relationship. Asserting your vision doesn't mean bulldozing over her ideas. It means knowing what you want and being willing to share it. Do you want a partnership where both of you grow together, where there's respect, balance, and shared goals? Then speak up. Staying quiet or constantly yielding only leads to frustration and a sense of imbalance over time. The reality is, women respect men who know where they're going and what they want. They're drawn to men who aren't afraid to express their aspirations, boundaries, and desires. When you're clear about your vision, it not only sets a standard, but also shows her that you're serious about building a fulfilling relationship, not just coasting along. Remember, she can't follow a vision she doesn't know exists, and she can't respect someone who always agrees just to avoid conflict. It's not uncommon to feel hesitant, fearing that asserting your vision will lead to disagreement. But real connection comes from honesty, not from avoidance. By bringing your ideas to the table, You're showing her that you're confident enough to want a partnership built on mutual respect, not one dominated by unspoken resentment or compromise. Take a stand, know your values, and understand where you want to go, not just in your personal life, but in the relationship. This isn't about being stubborn or inflexible. It's about having a strong foundation for what you believe in. She'll either be drawn to that strength or realize that the relationship isn't aligned with her own goals. Either way, you've set the terms for something real, and you've ensured that you're building a relationship on purpose, not by accident. So don't wait for things to just work out. Be intentional. Because if you're not leading the direction, who will? 5. Embrace your independence. A critical aspect of maintaining balance in any relationship is to embrace your own independence. One of the most attractive qualities a man can have is a strong sense of self, knowing who you are, where you're going, and what you value. Too often, men lose sight of their own identities in relationships, merging so fully with their partner's world that they let go of their personal goals, interests, and ambitions. But if you don't hold on to your independence, you risk becoming dependent on the relationship itself for your sense of worth. And when that happens, it's easy to get caught up in trying to please, avoid conflict, or overcompensate just to keep things harmonious. Independence isn't about distancing yourself or refusing to commit. It's about showing up as a whole person, not just someone who's attached to someone else. Maintaining your independence means you continue to invest in your goals, friendships, passions, and personal growth. This doesn't just make you a stronger individual, it also makes you a better partner. When you bring your own energy, interests, and ambitions to the relationship, you offer her something to respect and admire, someone who adds value to her life without relying on her for validation. Staying true to yourself sends a powerful message that your world doesn't revolve around her. Ironically, this actually strengthens attraction and respect. A woman wants a partner she can look up to, someone with his own direction and purpose, not someone who shapes his entire life around her. It's healthy to make sacrifices for love, but it's a mistake to sacrifice everything. A relationship should add to your life, not consume it entirely. Independence also makes you resilient. If conflicts arise or things get tough, you have your own foundation to fall back on. You're not afraid of the relationship's ups and downs because you're rooted in yourself, not in the fear of losing her approval. When you embody this strength, she'll respect you for it, seeing you as a partner who's steady, self-sufficient, and confident. So don't give up your individuality. Keep nurturing your own life, even as you invest in your relationship. Build a life so full and fulfilling that she sees you as a man who chooses to be with her out of desire, not dependence. Embrace your independence, and you'll not only feel more confident and secure, but you'll also create a relationship based on genuine attraction and respect. At the end of the day, understanding and balancing a woman's ego isn't about control. It's about presence, purpose, and perspective. Remember, a man who knows his worth doesn't need permission to lead. Here's the controversial truth. If you're constantly bending over backward, you're not in a relationship, you're in a performance. So stand firm, set the pace, and embrace your independence. I'd love to hear your stories and experiences on this. Have you tried any of these approaches? Drop a comment and let's talk about what worked or didn't. I'll be checking in to connect with each of you.